Hi, at Dad's Wisdom here. So be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Maybe hit the notifications button if you'd like to hear when there's new content available. So I've talked a little bit about building an emergency fund. An emergency fund is that amount of money that you're not going to touch unless there's an actual emergency in your life. There's a lot of advice out there about how much money you should have in an emergency fund. And I see 3 to 6 months many times, sort of the standard that I hear. I'm not really comfortable with that amount of money, and I want to explain to you why that is. I believe that you should probably plan on having at least a year's worth of expenses saved up. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, how could I ever do that? Well, you're going to do this over time, all right? But the important thing is that you're going to take 15% of every time you're paid, every paycheck, any gig you take, any freelance thing, every delivery you make, you're going to take 15% of that and transfer it automatically into an online savings account that you're never going to touch unless there's an emergency. Now let's define again what an emergency might be. An emergency isn't just that kind of thing in your life where you find yourself short of cash and you really want to do something or maybe even need to do something. An emergency is when you have a major life event. You could have an illness where you can't work. You could lose a job or some other catastrophe where suddenly your income is stopped. That's why I think you need at least a year. Now, in this particular job market, I've seen people looking for jobs for up to a year. And so that's something to keep in mind. So, very gradually, you're going to build up that emergency fund, and it's going to be there for you if you should ever need it. The idea is not to need it, and hopefully you won't, and that's great. But at least you've got a year's worth of expenses on the books that you can take care of things. You can continue to live and not jeopardize losing your house or losing an automobile. You would still need to eliminate some of the things in your life that are sort of, the extras, okay? We just are talking about the minimal expenses to basically live every single month. That is the number one thing you want to do. Do that as soon as you possibly can in your life. Now, that also needs to grow as your expenses grow. So if you're building that emergency fund, and let's just say hypothetically it's $5,000 will cover you for the amount of time I'm talking about, that's not going to last a very long time when your expenses grow. Let's just say that you move into an apartment of your very own, or you've bought a house, and now you have real fixed costs every single month. I think you need to be able to cover those without having some serious sacrifices, meaning that you need to sell a car or even risk being repossessed or even losing your home or being evicted from an apartment because you just simply can't pay. This is going to insure you from doing that. This is your own insurance, all right? After you've funded that emergency fund, we're going to talk about some other things then to begin to invest in for the future, because what you've been doing is now having that discipline that allows you to save and save right at the very beginning, and you're actually living on a part of your income that you're just not used to spending it all. When I was younger and I had a job sort of first out of college, I started getting into the habit of spending most, if not all, I was making. That's a bad habit to get into, and I want to talk about that in subsequent videos. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. I hope this is helpful to you. Have a great day.